Welcome to the show, welcome to the show. Here to give you knowledge that you didn't know. Put you on some game, now you got a buzz. You are now listening to Cannabruhz.
I'm gonna say this one thing and then
No, I got you. Let them hear it, man. That's what they listening for.
The big thing is, and I was thinking about it earlier, and it's similar when it comes to slavery, because that question comes up. You know, I've talked to some of our colleagues in life, right? And some of the colleagues in life have come to me and said, like, you know, slavery was a long time ago. Why are people still speaking as if, you know, they were slaves, or, you know, their parents were slaves? You know, that was several generations ago. But similar to the war on drugs, right? It's a systemic generational effect, right? Because you remove somebody from the family, then the offspring of that family is already impacted, right? And then the impact of not having a mother or not having a father, and, you know, let's say they were struggling because they didn't have the resources. Now they didn't have the finances to maintain. Well, now that child that went without, it has now been subject to a different environment or conditioning than they would have been if both parents were in the household. And then from that piece, now that child, you know, let's say they were raised in the streets. I'm just throwing out a scenario right now.
Yeah, I feel you.
Streets, right? And now they get locked up, or they, you know, their mindset is what am I trying to say? Their mindset is conditioned. I mean, that's the best way I can say. It's a conditioning when you go to the street, and so how they think and how they move is all
right.
Yeah, and then it just impacts that generation, and then they have kids, and they teach their kids that same mentality, like, hey man, you can't do this, you got to move like this, and then it's just a cycle, it's a vicious cycle. And so when I compared that to slavery, I mean, it's the same thing. It's and you know, slavery happened, it was repealed, but the effects of parents being a slave, and of course Jim Crow and all that, and then they're conditioned, and they have the environment that they grew up in, and then they had kids, and again the system that was in place then was against them, and it's still in place today, and it's against
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we can go on and about it. I mean, but you're in so many ways. The way I look at that is both issues that, you know, America has, you know, has taken many opportunities to continue. Like, they've taken many opportunities. They've had so many opportunities to right these wrongs over time. But when there's a group that is benefiting from the disadvantages of others, right, then people are more inclined to continue that. And that's just the nature of it, right? So in both cases, there's somebody that benefited from slavery, and then people that were damaged, right, for how long now, right, because of it. Same thing when it comes to the war on drugs. You know, when it comes to the war on drugs, ultimately it's always a mentality thing. People always want to say you're not there, you know, whatever. Hey, right now, and you know, whatever, this is our podcast, I'm a rock, so none of us are in Ukraine right now, right? It's the mentality. It's the mentality, right? So we relate to them because of, like, how relatable that is to our lives in some way, or the fear that could one day be us. So it's always interesting when people are saying, "Oh, that was in the past," or "slavery was in the past," or, you know, hey, you know, yeah, the war on drugs was tough, but, you know, the person in your family, you know, they've already gotten out after serving 20 years, after serving 15 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, everything should be fine. Well, there's no stimulus package for someone who served that amount of time if there wasn't, a new trial to prove that they were innocent. That then you maybe get a little payday or whatever, but even then it could never truly make up for the time and what was lost, right? Because you don't know the impact that a person could have. You can't actually predict their trajectory, right? You can't see where they were going in their life and how that would have impacted how many other people in their family, their actual household, their neighborhood, right? All the different businesses and opportunities that may have come to them through just living life. They could have bumped into somebody else. That's next thing you know, they have the next Facebook. Thanks for tapping in with the Cannabruhz. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of this free game. Peace.